Since graduating high school, I've spent roughly a year's worth of nights in the back of my truck and countless hours out in nature on adventures totally alone. Something I get asked quite frequently is, don't I get lonely? And yes, obviously I do, but I've always been extremely content being by myself. As a professional introvert, I struggle much more being stuck in the city, in traffic, and around large groups of people. This year, I've actually made it a goal to try and spend more time around people, as my social life has been toast for a while now. So while I'm attempting to conquer my social anxiety, hopefully this video inspires somebody who maybe is much more comfortable always being surrounded by people to try spending some time alone in the woods. I've realized that many people genuinely have no idea how to spend time alone with nothing but their own thoughts to keep them entertained. So I've decided to make this video sharing some tricks that I've learned through my experiences, and why I believe spending time alone in a place like a forest is more important now than ever. I'll explain this video as if you're taking a hypothetical solo trip into the woods for a weekend or something, but this is just a metaphorical woods. All you really need is a quiet place where you can be alone for a bit. And most of this advice can certainly apply to just being alone in life in general. So, for starters, find a woods to go to. I'd recommend a national forest or any public land with hiking trails, somewhere far enough away from any traffic noise. Chart a rough route of where you want to go. Be sure to research the area you plan to go. Where can I camp? Is there cell service? Any wildlife to be aware of? Where do I go in case of an emergency? When going into the woods alone, you should always let someone know where you plan to go and how long you plan to stay. Do not be like the 3 lost high schoolers I had to rescue last summer who were completely unprepared. Bring a backpack with some essentials like a flashlight, first aid kit, some snacks, water, some means of navigation and communication, and a weapon of your choice. This might include a knife, an adze, a hatchet, a handsaw, bear spray. Also, if you feel comfortable with it, I'd recommend leaving your phone behind. Now then, you're ready to actually set off into the woods.
No, Damien, do not leave me behind. Don't do it. No!
After wandering trails aimlessly for a bit, I like to scurry off the trail until I see nothing but forest surrounding me. Find a good tree to lay up against. Yeah, that's it. Now simply sit there. This part is easy for me, but probably challenging for many. There's a good chance those first few minutes will be extremely boring if you've never attempted this before. You might just sit there expecting some life-altering experience. If you can stick with it past those first few minutes though, the first thing you'll likely notice is the deafening silence. You start to hear small things like a squirrel prancing through the leaves, a woodpecker hammering away, a grouse drumming its wings, the wind sifting through the canopy of trees, your own breathing and heartbeat. It can be hard to tune out the worries of the world and the thought that you should probably be doing something more important right now, but I think it can be quite gratifying when you force yourself to just be still, to just listen. Everything starts to slow down and you start to almost hear your own thoughts unfold. This might be an eerie feeling for some, and may even be a bit scary. Every sound echoes and magnifies in the woods, especially at night. Believe me, there'll be random times where your brain really psychs you out. You'd swear a mouse farting was a bear doing push-ups on top of your camper. I've learned you just have to try and distract yourself thinking of something else and trust you'll almost certainly be fine. I believe it's not only what might lurk in the woods unseen that leaves people afraid, but also the fear of yourself. We live in a world today that is filled with noise, constant stimulation, distractions, and chaos. The rapid pace many live life at while trying to get by often leaves little to no time for oneself. Many people are forced to bury painful memories or feelings they'd rather not think about. Spending extended time in the forest with no outside noise leads to many emotions being unearthed that you may not want. You may even realize there's a lot you don't like about yourself. There's certainly been aspects of my own self that I've realized I dislike. Some won't be able to handle it, but pushing through those feelings can be extremely motivating and healing. It's helped me realize the areas of my own life that I need to be better at and pushes me to always strive to improve myself. One of the biggest discoveries I've made through my experiences is that time in solitude can be an emotional roller coaster. You reach the highest of highs accomplishing tasks such as cooking a delicious meal, setting up a camp, or hiking a mountain for the first time all by yourself. It's given me so much self-confidence and belief in my own adaptability. At the same time, though, when something goes wrong alone, it's so easy to panic and feel like the world itself is ending. The realization no one else is with me to cheer me up, tell me to be more cautious, encourage me to keep going, or to balance emotions off of can snap a mood swiftly. You may have to learn the hard way what boundaries you need to set and what risk you can't take when alone. Every solo adventure I've ever been on, no matter how incredible, has had a moment where I ask myself, what the heck am I doing here? Why am I doing this? What are my motives? I've found that for me personally, usually just eating a decent meal and taking a power nap typically snaps me out of these funks. Sometimes some music or hiking helps too. You'll have to find what works best for you. But the biggest lesson here is just knowing those ruts are going to show up and that you will have moments where every fiber of your being is screaming to bail and go home. Having this expectation helps mentally prepare. Breaking past those ruts and finding what snaps me out of them has led to my most unforgettable experiences. We live in a society today that I believe in a way is becoming increasingly reliant on people not thinking to function. It doesn't want us to think. We have social media, news outlets, complex algorithms, leaders, and now AI, all here to tell us what to think and how we're supposed to feel. We're all constantly instilled with this irrational sense of fear and hatred for those we might disagree with. People are growing more and more accustomed to not needing to think, and many find themselves caught in this blinding, robotic, ever so easy to fall into trap. Instead of thinking, people resort to hating one another. Why? Well, hey, I'll admit, it's a heck of a lot easier to hate, assume the worst, judge, and be afraid of someone than it is to show a little love, compassion, and empathy for our fellow human beings. And what happens when people do start to question the actual core issues of society? We're quickly reminded we're supposed to be focused on hating one another. Hey, you see with this group of people today? You're supposed to be offended by that. As a Catholic myself, I believe in God. I do believe in right and wrong and that there is an objective truth. But God also wouldn't want that belief of mine to stop me from trying to understand the many circumstances in life that could lead a person down a certain path of belief. People are losing their ability to take a stand in the middle without any preconceived notions and take a real long look at different perspectives. It's so easy to stay absorbed in your own little bubble, having this entitled, egotistical belief that you're somehow better and more deserving than the person sitting next to you. Time alone in the woods forces you to really look yourself in the mirror and reassess what values you're going to take a stand on. It may even help you realize we're all just human beings trying to make it by on the same planet we all share. Getting away from that ever-present propagandic influence and mindless affirmation of society's herd mentality is so important for rediscovering the crucial ability to think for yourself nowadays. Is propagandic a word? Hopefully it is. It sounds kind of cool. Anyways, these are all just areas in my own life that I've realized I need to work hard at to improve. When I was younger, I'd often escape into the woods with a sort of hate-filled screw people and society mantra, which I don't think is a super uncommon attitude for many nowadays. Since then, I've matured a bit, at least that's what I tell myself, and I've realized that this isn't a beneficial approach at all going to the woods. I now instead try my best, and I'd highly recommend you do likewise, using the woods as a place to reset, heal, and as generic as it may sound, replenish your patience and compassion for humanity. Don't let the fuel of hatred and negativity tarnish your experience in the woods. When I've been absent from nature for long periods of time, the mundaneness of everyday life can start to make the world around me feel very stale. I'll admit, like many of us today, I'm addicted to my phone and screens. I constantly bombard myself with overproduced, mindless slop the second I feel an inkling of boredom surface. My dopamine threshold gets so hijacked that after a while, the thought of sitting in the woods seems boring and pointless. It becomes harder to prioritize driving north and putting in the effort to camp out. Those first few minutes will be boring. Everything will seem bland and colorless. It may even take a few days, but eventually your brain will start to detach from the allure of the digital world. everything will start to feel real again. The cold flowing water of a stream, the sounds, the smell of leaves, that weird squishy feeling of moss. You're reminded you're alive. You start to notice every minute detail and process unfolding right in front of you that you never would have picked up shortly before. What seems so uninteresting starts to fascinate you. You can feel the creative juices and motivation return when you give your brain a little space to imagine things again. The beauty of nature and God's perfect and intricate design for creation starts to shine through. So much happening from the mighty trees all the way down to the plants, animals, and near microscopic insects. Most everything with a role in serving its purpose. Being out in the forest helps me rediscover that childlike sense of wonder and appreciation for the natural world. I start asking myself, I wonder where that trail goes. I wonder what's just past that clump of trees. That curiosity and drive for exploration starts rearing its head again. And when you mix that sense of wonder with the knowledge and hopefully maturity you gain with age, I think it makes for a pretty great combo. It is turned into an absolutely gorgeous day. Wander, explore until I get lost, and hopefully find my way back. Covered in this moss, all the way up there. That looks so cool. We made it. This is awesome. Guys, I'm just at a loss of words. This is just simply one of the most picturesque, beautiful places I've ever been.